Facebook Live. What's up, Facebook? All right, I think we are on. I am going to jump back to my screen. We are recording. We are on Facebook. Excellent. What's up, everybody? Welcome. Welcome to Fitness Notes. I don't know if I need to make this a show. Get my light on here. If I need to make this like an official show or what. But basically every couple of weeks, I kind of put together some notes, some things that come across the screen, some things I like to talk about. Also, a couple of things that other trainers will ask me, other clients will ask me, or just thoughts as I'm training and working with people. Anyway, I make all my notes. I figure it might be fun to get on here. I did this 2 weeks ago. I've been trying to do it every other week. Everybody really seemed to like it. So here we go. Figured I would do another one with you. All right. First things first. Today, I had the opportunity to work with some of my clients here. Where'd my screen go? Some of my clients here in studio, and it was super, super fun. Like, this has been kind of the first time in 2 months that I've been able to have a group. So these are two couples, husbands and wives, that had two of everything, totally separate equipment, separate spacing. We used inside, outside. A few times where we had all four people indoors, but we had an absolute blast just trying to kind of work our way through a very special Martin Luther King Day workout. We had, he would have been 93 today, so we had some themed 91 rep exercises that we did. We had all kinds of great controlled tempos. We did these 10-second reps. It was a 4 negative, 2 isometric hold, and then a 4 positive. And we did 10 rounds of that, or 10 reps of that per exercise. And then we did basically as a pre-exhaust, and then we followed that with up to 20 reps, 1-to-1 tempo, as fast as you could go, like burnout style. And it was awesome. I mean, it totally gassed people. And I had a blast. I got to do it with my 9 o'clock group, and we had a really good time. I'm having so much fun creating different styles and kind of intermixing and integrating different philosophies in how we train. And one that I'm really enjoying right now is high intensity resistance training, is one that I'm really diving deep into. We've been doing high intensity interval training for a long time, and I never really knew that high intensity resistant training was kind of a thing. And I kind of stumbled across the idea. I'm like, if we're moving weights at a higher tempo, it's got to be different than the body weight and the cardiovascular components. And it is. So this is a new endeavor that, as far as a new title goes, we've been high intensity resistance training for 10 years. This has basically been what we've been doing. I've just been calling it HIIT training because I didn't have another word for it. So it's been great. So anyway, if you get a chance to try something out, it was awesome. It was a very pure moment for me to kind of get back to my roots of training with my clients and having everybody here, and it totally made my day. I loved it. On another note, and it kind of leads right into this. This is a slide from my presentation I'm going to be doing tomorrow. I'll show you the link in just a moment of where you can sign up for this. Is with FAI. It's on my Facebook page. It's on my Instagram. You can click on there and log in. It's a free webinar. And I'll be talking about the 4 foundational components of resistance training, specific to the older adult. And in pursuing that, I wanted to give statistical information. I want to back up everything that I'm asking people to do, or I'm telling people to do, with statistical information to support the ideas. So a lot of my clients, my mother-in-law, for example, has a knee that's bugging her right now, and everything that we do in our training is aggravating. And we keep talking about the arthritic grace period, 2 to 12 weeks, right? We're 2 or 3 weeks in to a new kind of cycle for her. It could be 2 more months of this, but it's my job to continue to find a strategy to train her knee that allows it to get stronger. And it still might aggravate it a little bit, but it doesn't aggravate it so much that it's putting her back. We're having huge flare-ups, right? So I'm having to manipulate and move things and adjust bands and adjust weight and find different ways. But we got to work through the arthritic grace period. I've got to get to the point where the knee's like, okay, this is a new strategy that I'm doing. But if I couldn't tell her factually that there is such a thing as the arthritic grace period, and then I didn't have stats and research to support that this would happen, within 2 to 12 weeks, your knee is going to get stronger and we'll be able to manipulate our way through these workouts. I just have to find the way to do it that doesn't continue to flare you. It just allows you to get stronger. And as we do that, we will find success. Now, I wouldn't ask her to do that if I didn't have stats behind it. So my new effort right now is to spread the word of movement. Our motto, movement is life. We've been saying that for a decade now. My wife and I are, ever since World War Z came out. As soon as we saw that in World War Z, we were like, that's our motto. That's our company motto. And we were off and we were going. And the mindset is that you got to move. You have to move. We have to have days of activity. And we have this 300-day activity chart that we're doing for 2021. Every day you exercise, you go for walks, you work in the garden, anything that elevates your heart rate for a longer period of time, challenges your body in some way, we can consider activity, okay? If you can get 300 of those, basically 6 out of 7 days of the week through the year, plus minus a little bit for vacation, we're golden. So that's our 300 challenge. But we look at where we are society-wise, nationwide, worldwide. Everybody's supposed to be staying at home and not doing anything. And think of the damage that is being done in that process. So this research really kind of brings that home. It kind of delivers this message for us. So these folks here in this study were 70 to 79-year-olds. They were averaging 6,000 steps a day before the pandemic, using their little step counters. And then pandemic hit, and if anybody had to go anywhere or do anything, you had to, if they were going to travel, they were going to go do anything. 14 days, starting March 15th, 18th, whatever the day was, people got shut down. For the next 14 days, nobody go anywhere. So atrophy starts 24 to 48 hours after if you're not actively doing anything, which the majority of research supported that the majority of folks is like 89% of America just sat and just waited for 2 weeks. We weren't exercising, right? So you get that many folks that just sit for 2 days, you have atrophy. Well, beyond those 48 hours, 72 hours, now we're talking about sarcopenia with actual loss of muscle, not just shrinking, but actual loss of muscle and function. If you cannot muscularly manipulate your bones about to coordinate and move you, you're not going to move anymore. And if you do try to coordinate and move quickly, typically you don't have the strength to do that very well or to do it very quickly, you fall down. And that's, number one reason for falls and for fall prevention is we need you to get dense. We need to build and create a resistance on the body that's going to pull and make your bones more dense. So if you do fall, you just bounce, you don't break. Or we strength train you and we build a good foundation, and then we do power training and we get it where you're quicker and more dynamic and more coordinated. And if you start to fall, you can rescue the fall or at least slow the fall drastically, right? So we know people aren't doing that, and we're at least 14 days, which it turned out to be like 9 months. But all of us, it was 2 weeks. So we're looking at that. The average step count went down to 1,500 steps per day. So it was decreased by 75% of their activity. And during that 2-week period, they had a 4% reduction in fat-free body mass. So they lost 4% basically of muscle. And in testing their overall body strength, there was an 8% reduction in muscular strength and muscular effort. Once they got back to doing some activity after 2 weeks, I don't know the depth and the detail of that, what exactly it was, just said that a 2-week post-rehabilitation training sessions failed to rebuild the lost muscle. That basically they had sat and done nothing for so long that even 2 weeks of strength training couldn't, rebuild and get them back. Obviously, it's rebuildable, but it wasn't, in 2 weeks. The amount of time that they sat did more damage than the good they could in rebuilding in that same period of time. So it really brings forward the notion and the understanding that you got to be active. You have to be able to move, and those that are not doing that are just becoming more and more vulnerable. So as of tomorrow, Tuesday, in California, that'll be 309 days since businesses were ordered shut, home, everybody was sent home. And though, yes, we've been out and we've had businesses open and closed 5 different times, there have been many different challenges for us, and a large chunk of folks out there are just they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. So it's like, where do we go from there? Okay, what do we do from there? I'm hoping to bring in some direction, some help with general population, but specifically with the trainers and how they can start working with their clients at home and start to really improve their abilities. So you can go into, oops, that's not the one I wanted. Okay, I'll show you that in just a minute. So this is the registration page. If you guys go to my Facebook page, you'll see the registration link for that webinar, the one tomorrow. And in that webinar, we'll be talking about this. This is our course that we're going to be launching with FAI as well. But I'm going to give you 8 really good exercises tomorrow, that on Tuesday, that you can utilize with your clients, individuals at home. You'll be able to get pretty close to implementing a lot of these if you don't have the equipment we need, which typically is kind of our base understandings of bands and door anchors and a couple of kettlebells and dumbbells. You need some basics, but I'll be able to show that to you. And then for you trainers out there, we have continued information here with FAI. Dan and Cody and the whole crew there, Celia, they're awesome, and they give me opportunities to get on here and share stuff with you guys. I love that it's open to everybody. Another great organization, Larry here at OTP, On Target Publications, provided me an opportunity to do a webinar for their followers, their readers, and their members. And that's open as well. So this link, if you're on my Instagram, you can click on my bio and find the link into this one. This is in just a couple of weeks, the 26th, January 26th. We'll be at 11:30 a.m. Pacific. We'll be diving into 5 functional strength training lifts for the aging fitness enthusiasts, but we're really looking at aging athletes. So you're getting older, but you're not retiring from running and lifting and hiking and everything else. What are 5 lifts that really transfer to sport and really keep you strong and dynamic and explosive and all of that you need, but it doesn't have so much pounding, so much impact, so much damage back on the body. So I'm going to feature 5 of those lifts and really take you through. For an hour, 5 lifts, we're going to be able to spend a good 10 minutes on each one of those. And then I'll show a little basic program. So you can go on to OTP, click on here. Here's the registration link. It just takes you right to our Zoom page where you can register there. And if you go into OTP and just put in my name up here, put in search, it'll pop up and show you where you can register for that. Other things that have come up in the last couple of weeks, this is one that I found very interesting, was SouCycle. And if you read this whole thing, it's super interesting to see the culture and the rise and the popularity and the celebrity and the drama. And it's like, this could have been a reality show. And in some ways it kind of was. Like some of the things in this article, you guys can read it yourselves. It's something else. Here, I'll just show you one of the notes. Okay, it's talking about, it was a cult, right? Kind of a cult feeling, the way you had collections. People would register for a bike all day long. There'd be 8 classes available, or 6 classes. They'd register for bike number 1, and they'd get all of them, and then they would sublease it and rent it out to other people and make profit in some cases, or exchange, oh, you're gonna, my kid needs a ride for this, and I'll give you the spot in the bike if you take them to after school, or, whatever it is. Like, it was this whole thing. And they changed a lot of the names, so, or all the names, so nobody's, known by their real name. But going through the whole thing, the celebrity and the involvement, I'm looking for this one note on here. There's, yes, you can see some of the other things, the followers, the obsessions, and then here it is. If someone asks you if you're back on cocaine or if you have an eating disorder, you've hit your goal weight. And that's from Janet, who is one of these celebrities that one of the trainers was working with. And that individual was like over the moon. They put this note up in the office, and it was this really cool thing, like this whole different culture. And it just kind of shows you like where our industry is, and it doesn't show you where our industry is. It shows where there are certain demands and needs and different followings of folks in our industry. And there's a demand for everybody, basically, is what I'm saying. From CrossFit to body weight to Indian clubs to kettlebells to cycling to resistance training. Like, everybody's got their niche and their space they can get into. And then you've got your extremes, your highs. And it just shows like you can get so into this that it can get a little dangerous and a little bit over the top. And then it just talks about all the finances. This company got so big and then didn't really get to change with the times or offer any new service. They kind of got stuck in their ways and just kept offering the same thing. And as this reads, did not diversify enough to offer new challenges and new interest from people. And then it started to die out. And then the pandemic has completely kind of crushed it from what it reads and what it sounds like. So if you guys get a chance to go through this, it's a long article as per articles go on the internet, but it goes into some pretty good detail. They talk to a lot of different employees, and it's something else. So get a chance to check that out. Going into questions of fitness. I'm going to give a plug to Hiscox. This is our insurance company. But one of the other trainers in my TOA Select sent me a message asking about insurance and if they needed to do something in their insurance to switch or modify now that they offer online training. And basically, you need to call your insurance company and ask them. So when we called Hiscox, they said it's already incorporated and built into the insurance plan that you have. So I didn't personally needed to change it, but others might if you haven't purchased that plan or if it's included. So Hiscox is a great company. They've been around a while. K&K is good. Philadelphia is good. I'm not just plugging these guys because they're our company, the ones that we use. But insurance is super important, you guys, and you got to make sure that you're covering all your bases and that you are being the professional that you should be, in the sense that your clients deserve to be insured in your space and you deserve to be insured in your space as well. If an accident happens, if a fire occurs, if a water line breaks, if a client falls down and gets hurt, you need that. So don't skimp on that stuff, especially now in this day and age. It's very important. And then a product review. So everybody thinks, because I'm in love with Angles90, everybody thinks that I have like an invested stock or that's something. I don't, guys. I swear, I promise. I get $0 back from them. I just love their product, and I love how, like, when my clients and a lot of you, the other trainers, I got one today. It was like, we just got our new bands and our new handles, and it's a whole new way of life. Just attaching the handles to the bands, like, I'm never going back. You know what I mean? It's neat to hear that, because I had that same experience. A friend of mine named Tim Vegan up in Seattle, in Washington, Tacoma, actually. Tim, we were at a conference, and he was like, I see all the stuff you're doing with bands. Have you ever heard of these Angles90? And I said, no. And he goes, check them out. You get a chance. So I look it up, and they were like, this was years ago, I don't know, $80, and they were from Italy. And it was going to take like 3 weeks to get them. And I'm like, whatever. Tim says they're good, I'll buy them. So I bought them. As soon as I got them, I tried them. Like, these are fantastic. And since then, they now have an LA distributor, I think, and they're like $47 or $49, something like that. The best handles you'll ever have, guys. And so you get a chance to try those. I love them. They're great for clients with arthritis or hand issues, because you have a massive, there's a disability in arthritis in the hands where you can't close your grip all the time. So having the handle be really thick in the middle and kind of narrow on either end really helps out a lot. So that's a perk. But a new product they have is this guy. They're pulley. And we've been using that here. I've got it up behind me here. We've been using it for the last couple of weeks, and I really like it. I love the length of the pulley the wire is great. I love the little attachment, the strap here in the middle. This guy is fantastic for connecting it to stuff. It's super easy and very durable. And then the pulley itself is very wide. Distributes and tracks the cable in there easily. It doesn't screech. It doesn't scratch on metal. It doesn't pop out of place. It's very, very solid. I wish the carabiners were bigger. The carabiners are really small. I wish the hole on here on these guys where you could put the carabiner was bigger. But outside of that, love the product. I think it's great and awesome if you're rowing tires and everything else you see the guys doing on here. But just in general in the weight room, I do hook my children to it and do pulls with them and let them play as I get my workout in. So you ever get a chance to check that out? I get asked all the time, what pulleys are you using? It's this one or it's Spud Incorporated. I did a whole product review of Spud Incorporated maybe 3 months ago on their magic carpet, their pulley, their handles, everything else that we use. Basically, if it's not Angles90, it's Spud. And talk about a company that makes stuff to never break again. Like, I've had stuff from them for 4 or 5 years and we use it daily and it still looks new. So they're badass. You guys get a chance. And you can look at that on my YouTube page. It's maybe 3 months ago, and it's rigging with Rob, pulley rows and landmine deadlifts, I think is it. And you can see it in there. All right. And then my last one, I had somebody ask me about the grooming of my beard. And so these are my dudes. I just wanted to show them and give them a little love. Again, I get no return by doing this. They're just awesome. Live bearded. The best product. I've tried probably 4 or 5 different beard butters and oils and such, and I love these guys. Their Legend brand is vanilla and sandalwood. Oh, it's like the best. Putting it on every day makes me happy. I think my wife really likes it. She hasn't complained. They have really nice other flavors too, other smells. I guess you would, since you're not eating it, it's not a flavor, but they've got all kinds of stuff on here too. So if you were a beard, there's Legend right there. If you're bearded and you're looking at a product, please check them out. Their combs are very nice as well. So there are my plugs. There are my shout outs and my, how do I get back to my camera? All my, there we go. All my shout outs for today and my topics that I wanted to cover. I think I got it all. Yep, it looks like it. So I would love it if you guys would join me tomorrow for the webinar. That should be pretty solid. And sarcopenia, man, like I'm just seeing it affect so many people in my life. I'm seeing it affect others, and I'm knowing you guys get a chance to look at Jonathan Goodman's information with the Personal Trainer Development Center, the PTDC. They're fantastic. They've been surveying trainers. They've been surveying out to the survey to their trainers and how many people they're working with and how active everyone is, their incomes, their activities, ones that are getting laid off. I mean, they give great information. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't know how anything's really affecting our industry right now. So it's they're doing a great service to us right now. Lou Schuler, Jonathan Goodman, and their team, they're doing a great service to us, and they are the ones that really kind of provide and let us know, like, is this normal? Are we struggling or are we thriving? How is everybody else doing? And the reason I bring that up is they've really given us a lot of information as far as like talking points and information that I can bring into presentations to talk about how our industry is now. And we're seeing that a lot of trainers are not able to work and not working with as many people. So we know that sarcopenia number is on the rise, because when you work with a trainer, you are working with them because you need direction on exercise. You need the commitment to the time, the consistency. It's scheduled, or else I won't do it. You need the push. You need the encouragement. You need the connectivity, the ability, the chime of the group, even online. Like, we need all that. And so if that's not available, what are we doing? A lot of folks aren't doing anything. It breaks my heart, man, because I want you to go. And there's such great research. I'll show you this is my favorite friggin' book right here. This was supposed to be 20 minutes, and I just keep going because I love this stuff. But the training frequency, I have it tagged in here because this is such a big one for me. And when people tell me, like, I don't have enough time, this is twice a week for 20 to 30 minutes. These folks did this. It was the most basic strength training routine. It was 10 exercises. They were all selectorized machines. They went around it twice. They did 10 or 12 reps on each one. I mean, literally 20 minutes on machines, right? They just followed the circuit twice a week, and they had significant improvements over going 3 days a week, which is overtraining, 1 day a week, which wasn't often enough. So they did 2 days a week, every 48 to 72 hours. These are for beginning lifters, and they had improved sleep, mood, not bone density, muscular density, muscular recruitment, power output, like all of this over 10 weeks, 10 exercises. And you're not being creative. You're not designing anything fancy. That's the most like blah vanilla workout program, and it worked. And imagine if you create some cool shit and like some things that people really get into, and a new challenge every day, and you get goals and you get driven, how great it would be. These guys did the most vanilla program ever. Didn't change anything in the program, like did the same thing. And we know our body experiences a workout 2 times, 3 times even. It's like, got this down. What's next? I need a new challenge. That's the SAID principle, specific adaptations to imposed demand. If your imposed demand isn't different, it isn't new, it's not specific or challenging enough, there's no overload principle, there's no overload, it won't change. Nothing's going to happen. It's like, I got this. I can do this all day. So if that positive, all those improvements can come from doing the most vanilla program ever. What if you did 20 minutes every other day or every 3 days of good programming? How good could it be for you, right? From increasing fitness and getting more sleep and my mindset and everything else, things have been drastically better to improve my quality of life by doing that. And it all comes from a commitment to just a bit of time every day. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you all. Thank you for listening to this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you saw or heard something in here that you or a loved one or someone else in your life needs to hear, please find this clip on YouTube and share it with them. My goal is to reach and help and connect with as many people as possible, trainers or general fitness enthusiasts out there, my parents, your grandparents, our neighbors, everybody, and help them find a way to improve their quality of life. I love you guys. Have a great day. Appreciate y'all being here. We'll see you next time.